How we doing, everybody? Welcome back here to In Hindsight. This is episodes 28 of, well, it should have been your Sunday. But what happened was, obviously was my fault. As my video was exporting, I ended up deleting like the plain recorded video. So I saved the project. I ended up deleting the actual just plain recorded video of me talking, and then obviously with me deleting it, it took that away from the project that I was exporting. So I did upload it, and it was just nothing but a black screen for like half an hour. So that was my fault. So we're actually doing this today. It was too late to do it yesterday. So we're here for episode 28 of In Hindsight, folks. Thank you all for tuning back in. Now, this probably won't really be too long of a show compared to maybe what yesterday's show was and things like that, but we're going to be breaking down week one of the NFL preseason. There hasn't really been a lot of things coming out of week one. Week one of the preseason is usually always the driest. So we're just going to kind of go through the games, and obviously, specifically, I think what was the main topic was the rookie quarterbacks playing. So we'll kind of talk about where we kind of see their direction heading after the first week. I don't like to necessarily put things on people after 1 week of the preseason, but we have one shorter game now. So we're going to be talking about that. And, we also got roster cuts we'll kind of be getting into, and some things baseball related, man. So that's really going to be the show, the focal point of the show today. But anyway, hopefully you guys are enjoying, I hope you guys enjoyed your weekends. And hopefully your Mondays are starting off okay. Mondays, we obviously know, are the worst days of the week. But nonetheless here, hopefully I can make maybe your Mondays or whatever, whenever you guys come across this video or watch this, hopefully I can make it a little bit better. Clearly, if you're into sports talk or anything like that. But we're going to dive right into it. And I want to dive right into it because, like I said, of what happened yesterday. So, I don't know. It is what it is. Things happen sometimes in the recording process. It is what it is. But, so we had week one of the preseason. We had a lot of games Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Obviously, we talked about the Steeler game. That was Thursday. But we had games Friday, a plethora of games Saturday. We had one game yesterday. So let's kind of just get into that real quick. So Thursday, other than the Steelers and Eagles game, we had the Patriots and the Washington football team. Now, obviously, the story coming out of New England is, who's going to be the week one starters? Is it going to be Mac Jones? Is it going to be Cam Newton? Quite honest with you, man. I've been saying that, and you might disagree with me here, I've been saying that Cam Newton's probably going to be the starter, at least to start the year off. Now, I was never really, I never really thought that Mac Jones was going to be the guy to start the year. I think really the way for him to do that is if Cam just had a very unimpressive, bad preseason and Mac Jones really showed good things. But, from what people are saying, so maybe some Patriot fans are saying they were pleased with Mac Jones' performance. I got to turn this volume down because there's about to be a video that's going to be played. Give me 1 second here. Okay, there we go. Perfect. All right. So, on the Patriots side, so Cam Newton, he didn't really play a whole lot. He played about, one series. He went 4 for 7, 49 yards. Hoyer looks like he finished off the game. I didn't watch this game because, like I said, I was watching the Steelers game. Mac Jones went 13 for 19 for 87 yards. Now, from what I've been hearing, like I said, I didn't watch it. I watched a little bit of the highlights, but Mac Jones, he looked comfortable. He looked poised. Things like that. He made some nice passes in the middle of the field. He looks like his footwork was pretty on par. So I don't know. I really don't know. I think it might be a little too early to kind of make a determination on who's going to be the week one guy. I still think it's probably going to be Cam Newton at least to start the year until if there's poor play or an injury. But Mac Jones, it seems like just based off how he played, he's definitely trending in the right direction. He's definitely trending upward. He's definitely giving a really good first impression here. So if Mac Jones doesn't start, I could easily see him just starting sooner than later, simply because we know Cam Newton's injury prone. We know Cam Newton was very bad last year. I have always been a Cam Newton fan. I really enjoyed him in his time with the Panthers. But at this point in his career, he's had a lot of wear and tear. He's not the quarterback he was. We all know this. And I don't really view him as really as much of a starting caliber quarterback anymore. And that's just the reality of how it is. Cam Newton had a lot of, he had, some good years in Carolina, but he's had a lot of wear and tear on his body, man. And I think Mac Jones, as long as he kind of shows, he just kind of continues to impress in the preseason, doesn't really show maybe necessarily all the rookie slumps that we kind of see sometimes. Not rookie slumps, but, maybe the inconsistencies as a rookie quarterback, first starting off in the league, you know what I mean? He could definitely be starting sooner than later. So I would definitely say that his stock's kind of going up, he's definitely trending in the right direction in regards of starting for New England, if not week 1, sooner than later. But New England won this game 22-13. Now, I'm not going to go through the games here and go through all the stats and really kind of break it down. It's preseason. Nobody really cares. It's week 1. You know what I mean? So I'm not really going to do that. But I just kind of wanted to kind of go by some of the rookie quarterbacks because we know that was the story going into the first week of the preseason and really kind of what everybody was looking at. Friday, we had a few games. We had the Titans and Falcons. We had the Bills and Lions and the Cowboys and Cardinals. I don't know. Not really. I mean, I watched a little bit of the Cardinals and Cowboys game. Dak and Kyler obviously didn't play. But the Cardinals won 19-16. Bills won by 1, 16-15. And Titans blew the Falcons out of the water 23-3. So that was kind of that. Now, week 2. Week 2 of the preseason. Starting this Thursday, I believe, we're definitely going to see, I think for more teams than not, we're definitely going to see more starters play, more starting quarterbacks play. Week 2, and specifically when there were 4 preseason games, usually that third game was really kind of that hot, that hot week. So week 2, in this instance now, since there's only 3 preseason games, since they eliminated the 4th one, which is good, but this week's going to be the hot week coming out, and I think there's going to be a lot of things coming out of that week specifically, much more than what we can talk about right now. Saturday, we had Miami and the Bears. Now, obviously, this was this was Justin Fields' game, man. Justin Fields, he looked pretty poised. He looked pretty comfortable. Andy Dalton started the game off, didn't really do a whole lot, but Fields had 2 touchdowns, had a rushing touchdown, passing touchdown. I watched a little bit of this simply because I wanted to see Justin Fields play. Now, Justin Fields is another guy definitely trending the right direction. I have no idea if he's going to start week 1. I definitely think it's possible he does. If Justin Fields just really lights it up in preseason and really just shows a lot, he could definitely start week 1. It'll probably be Andy Dalton, but I could see Justin Fields coming in a lot sooner than later. I think out of all the quarterbacks, Justin Fields was the most impressive coming out of the preseason. But that's the thing. Other than Trevor Lawrence, I think really all these the rest of the quarterback groups, it's not a lock. You know what I mean? It's not a lock for anything. So they won 20-13. Tua, to me, didn't really look all that impressive. He threw a really bad interception. But, Tua, he still has time to grow and stuff like that. He last year was his rookie year. I think he's just someone that, you just got to kind of give more time to. You know what I mean? Be patient with and stuff like that. A lot of guys, it happens where first-round quarterbacks, they don't really necessarily have it all figured out, you know what I mean? Or they don't really, maybe look the way where you want them to be their first year of their career. It happens a lot. So Tua should definitely consider, he's definitely going to have time, to continue to grow, and he can, But Fields definitely looked pretty nice. I think a lot of Bear fans are pleased with that. Broncos-Vikings, 33-6. Denver won. Surtain had a pick 6, speaking of rookies. Ravens defeated the Saints 17-14. Trace McSorley's out for the rest of the preseason with a back injury, I believe. Lamar did not play. 23-13. Browns beat the Jags. Now, Trevor Lawrence, he was in there for a little bit. I think he had like 70, 80-some yards. Had a couple nice completions, stuff like that. I don't know why this is still being labeled as a quarterback battle between him and Gardner Minshew. It's no question Trevor Lawrence is going to be the week one guy. I like Trevor Lawrence. I do. I think Trevor Lawrence is definitely a generational talent. I definitely think he has a very high ceiling, a very promising future, and he can definitely be one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL a lot sooner than later for sure. So we had the Jets take on the Giants. They won 12-7. Zac Wilson, he was kind of Obviously, he's going to be the week one guy, but I don't really know what to think of Zac Wilson, man. To be honest with you, I didn't watch a ton of him in college. It seems like he does kind of have an arm on him, but it's hard. The Jets definitely have a better O-line than what they had with Darnold in there, but defense is still not very good. I'm not a big fan of their possessional players at all. We know the Jets aren't going to be very good, but you hope, obviously their hope is that Zac Wilson can be their guy moving forward. Time will tell on that, but he'll start week one. Bengals and Bucks. Bengals won 19-14. Joe Burrow didn't play. Brady played one series, and that was really about it. Texans defeat the Packers 26-7. Jordan Love, he had some nice opportunities, some nice plays that game. I think with Jordan Love, I don't know. I mean, we haven't seen, I've never really heard anything raving about him out of camp the last couple years. Green Bay definitely wants to give him more time, but it was a nice look, it seemed like, in regards of showing what he was able to do, and he's obviously going to get a lot more time in games 2 and 3 for the Packers. So, I think they just want to give him more time and really kind of see where he's at. But he can definitely be the starter come next year, depending what happens with Rodgers. Chiefs beat the Niners 19-16. Trey Lance, other than his touchdown, he had a nice deep pass, his first pass of the game. But other than that, he went 4 for 15 or whatever. Had a couple interception. He didn't have interceptions, but passes that could have been picked. I didn't really, when they drafted him, I didn't really understand the reasoning in regards to keeping Garoppolo around for one more year. I understand you got to do Super Bowl with him. Niners, as long as they're healthy, definitely have one of the better defenses in the league. And they have good talent on offense, too. I like guys they have on their offensive line as well. But Jimmy G's, he's an average quarterback at best. And I was just like, well, if you're taking this guy with your first pick, your second, third overall pick, whatever it was, I just don't understand. But, I guess because they feel like they can win with Jimmy G, obviously, as they've had, they want to give Lance more time. I get it, and maybe after maybe he might need it, but he's going to need a lot of snaps as well these next couple games for San Francisco. And we'll see what he does. He'll definitely, I think at some point this year, he definitely could start if Jimmy G's injured, because we know he's can have some injury problems, or if Jimmy G just craps the bed, and who knows, maybe Jimmy G might be pretty solid, but, or might get the job done. But I think Trey Lance definitely has an opportunity. I think him and Mac Jones are on that same level. They're probably not going to start the year off as a starter, but they can definitely start sooner or later, depending what their starting quarterbacks do in front of them. Raiders and Seahawks. Raiders beat Seattle 2017. Chargers beat the Rams 13-6. And the Colts defeat the Panthers 21-18. Like I said, I'm not really going to break down these games simply because it's the first week of the preseason. There's really not a lot to break down. There's not really a lot coming out of this. Week 2 might be a different story simply based on who decides to play, what happens, things like that. Obviously, once the season starts, as I've said, I'm going to be doing, recapping the week and stuff like that, and we'll kind of be breaking down the games and stuff like that. It's different. It's the first week of preseason. Nobody really cares to really hear all of that necessarily. It was really kind of the rookie quarterbacks everybody was interested in. So that's really week 1 of the preseason there. Week 2, this upcoming week, is definitely going to be that hot week in regards of, we're going to have more guys playing. We're going to have more guys getting snaps and stuff like that. So I definitely think more will come out of week 2 than what came out of this week. But we have roster cuts tomorrow. I believe they're trimming it 90 to 85. Now, I don't really know if there's going to be any big names or any notable names being cut here. And then I believe, what's the date? And then we got August 24th, it's going to be cut to 80, and then August 31st is going to be cut to 53, which is the big cut after the third game of the preseason. I really don't know. We know there's going to be some notable names that will be cut throughout this 3-week span, or 2-week span, whatever you want to say. But, yeah, like 3-week span. We know there's going to be some notable names, but who knows really what that's going to be right now. But that will be interesting to keep track of and talk about whenever that happens. If there's anybody that is, you know what I'm saying, that maybe it was a surprise cut. We see it every year. We see notable names get cut every year. Who knows? Who knows? But coming out of week 1 of the preseason, there's not really any news coming out of the NFL. It was just simply, you know what I mean, just talk about some of the rookies. That was honestly really it. There's really nothing notable really to talk about, I feel like, newsworthy-wise coming out of the preseason, other than maybe rookie quarterbacks, or maybe if there's somebody that impressed in a certain game or things like that. So, quite honest with you, I'm a transition out of the NFL because every year after the first week of the preseason, it's usually very dry coming out of it. Like I said, this week, Thursday, and so on with week 2 of the preseason, that's really the hot week. There's definitely going to be a lot of things coming out, especially with cut day tomorrow, and more guys, more starters and stuff like that, getting time, getting snaps. There's going to be more things to really kind of talk about coming out of it, but really not much to really sink your teeth into coming out of the preseason here. So we're going to transition out of it. Like I said, this is going to honestly be a pretty short show. You know what I mean? This is honestly going to be a pretty short show coming out of this. Now, I want to talk about, there's a couple things in baseball I want to talk about. Zack Britton. Okay, this was a story I talked about yesterday. Obviously, I'm talking about it again today, but Zack Britton of the New York Yankees, he's been taking the closer role because Aroldis Chapman has been injured. This stuck out to me, man. This is something that you don't really see in sports, or you really see the player going out of his way to do. Zack Britton, obviously, I don't watch the Yankees unless they're on, national television, really. But Zack Britton he's had a pretty good career. He was with Baltimore, traded the Yankees a little while ago. But yeah, so he approached the Yankees and told them to take him out of the closer role because he's not getting the job done, and he shouldn't be in that position. This is something, folks, that we don't really see much from an athlete. I respect this so much. And as a fan, when I watch a certain sports team of mine and maybe somebody's struggling, there's times that I've said before, you know what, they should honestly go up and say, Coach, I'm hurting the team and bringing the team down with my play. I might need to be sat just for a bit and get myself recomposed and back to where I need to be to help this team play. Put somebody else in there that can get the job done, and you know what I'm saying? Now, athletes aren't really going to do that because they don't want their spot to be taken. You know what I mean? They want to play. We know athletes aren't really going to come out and say that, but I respect Zack Britton tremendously just for coming out because he's struggling really bad as a closer. He's not getting it done for the team. He's hurting the team, and he's going out of his way to tell management, hey, I'm not getting it done as a closer. We all know this. Take me out of this role, put somebody else in there, give them an opportunity, let them thrive, and I need to get my game back on track. Pull me out of that situation. I respect that. And as a Yankee fan, I'd respect that 100%. This guy, to me, it shows character, it shows integrity, putting the team first, you know what I mean? Wanting the best for the team rather than just, wanting to stay in that position simply because you're in a higher spot or, a pride thing or, you know what I mean? When you're hurting the team at the end of the day. I respect that. I really do. I respect Zack Britton 100% going out of his way and telling coaches, management to take him out of that spot right now. I really do. But we don't really see athletes do that because maybe it's a pride thing, an ego thing. A lot of times it's because, obviously they want to play. They don't want to lose that spot, that position they're in. I get that 100%. And that's why it just really stuck out to me because it's something you just don't really see. So I respect Zack Britton 100 times 100. In regards of going out of his way and doing that. And if you're a Yankee fan, and obviously you're frustrated with Zack Britton's play and everything like that, that should be something you respect as well. But I wanted to briefly talk about that because that's a very unique thing, I feel like, in the sports world. We just don't really see athletes do. So kudos to Zack Britton on doing that and having the integrity and a backbone to approach your team and say, let's get somebody else in this spot, man, that deserves it. that could really take advantage of this opportunity and help our team win games, because clearly I'm not doing that. Kudos on him, man. Kudos on him. Now, I also wanted to kind of talk about as well the Field of Dreams game, man, that happened this last week. Wow. This was definitely the best game of the year. Really cool. I'm going to be honest with you, I didn't sit and watch the whole thing because I was doing something else. I can't remember what I was doing. But wow, I mean, I was able to see the intro and the beginning of it, and I was able to, kind of see the ending part of that. First of all, very cool spectacle. Very cool that they wanted to bring this back to life, based off of, I believe, the movie Field of Dreams and everything like that. And they wanted to bring this to life and kind of make it a big deal. And, just the one game this year, making that and doing that with the Yankees and White Sox. And, just really cool. Just a really cool atmosphere in Iowa. You know what I mean? You didn't have, there weren't a ton of stands. You kind of just had the bleachers behind home plate. Bunch of cornfields in the middle of a cornfield, and you had cornfields in the, back behind the wall. Really cool, man. Really cool, just spectacle and game in general. And with how successful this was, I could see this happen again next year, as it should. It's just a unique thing. It's different. It's it's a fun, I feel like, just, I don't really know how to describe it. It's just a really cool, different, take on having this game played. And, rather than it just, every game's in the stadium, you have this one specific game this year that's played in that kind of, scenario. I thought it was really neat. And obviously the game was great. You had the Stanton home run, the Aaron Judge home run, and then you had Tim Anderson walk it off. I mean, just absolutely amazing. I mean, and watching that, whether you watched it live or whether you watched it on, you watched a video of that happening, it honestly kind of gives you goosebumps a little bit because of, just the atmosphere and where the game's being played at, and really just kind of how cool and I guess special, this is, and this happening for the first time ever. And then you see, the Yankees make a major comeback, hit a couple home runs, and then you see Tim Anderson walk it off like that. Just, I mean, you couldn't script that any better than that happening. So, kudos to Major League Baseball for doing this game. Kudos to the Yankees and White Sox for just putting on the best game of the year. It was absolutely a really neat, to see, and definitely expected 100% to happen again next year. So that was actually really neat. I think they did last year. I think they did the game in Williamsport with the Cubs and Pirates. Now, I don't know if I can't remember if that was just that game or maybe that was in 2019. That might have been 2019. I can't remember if it was last year or 2019. But they did that game in Williamsport. I know it was with those two games. I think those were the only two teams that did that. But this is definitely something going forward with how successful this was and just how cool of a spectacle it was. You got to do it again next year, 100%. Now, whether you do it with the same teams or not, I don't know. I would imagine you're probably going to do two different teams, but really cool experience, I'm sure, for the players, the fans, and obviously the people watching. Really neat on baseball doing that, so kudos to Major League Baseball on that. Fernando Tatis is back. He came back yesterday, started in right field. Now, I've heard, a friend told me as well that before this game started on Saturday, he told me that Tatis probably going to play in right. I didn't hear anything about that, but I can understand that probably because maybe they want to take some pressure off that shoulder. Shortstop gets a lot more work than maybe a right fielder would. Usually kind of throughout the game. But Tatis, his first game back, hits a leadoff home run. So shoulder looks good. You know what I mean? I don't really... Who knows if it's still bothering him or not, but based off of that, it looks like he's back. So, going forward, I don't know if going forward they're going to, leave him in the outfield, and they're just really going to try to work him in there and change his position. I don't know if this is a temporary thing, but I just know that he hasn't really been that great defensively. So, who knows on that status there. But Tatis, I mean, the Padres really needed him back. You know, when he got hurt, I didn't know if he was out for the season and be back for the playoffs. Obviously, he's back. But for the Padres to really try to make that run, they need a guy like that. They need him in there, because if he wasn't there, you're not going to have that success. The Padres have a very good all-around team, from pitching to positional players, but Tatis is the anchor of that team. You know what I mean? He's probably the front runner to win MVP, and that's who you need there, whether at the top of your lineup, batting third, wherever the heck you play him, fourth, I don't know, but that's who you need right there. So that's very good news for Padre fans, for the Padres, in regards to him being back and pushing to that run to most likely get a wild card, try to make a playoff push. So that's really good news for the Padres. Also, there was, I can't remember the other thing I wanted to mention baseball-wise. See, what I do is, like, sometimes, like, if there's something, if there's certain things in particular, you know what I mean, that I want to, you know, really kind of talk about, I'll write it down so I don't forget. But speaking of the Diamondbacks and the Padres, I believe it was Saturday night, Diamondbacks had no hitter. Now, to me, this isn't, and I think really to everybody, this wasn't a typical no-hitter. I mean, there's been 8 no-hitters this year, which is crazy. But I feel like this is probably it seems like this is the first no-hitter since really all the spider tack and sticky stuff and the substance issues amongst pitchers really kind of came out and was hammered down on. Tyler Gilbert, I believe that's his name. Tyler Gilbert, isn't that his name? I believe that's his name. Let me look that up. Yeah, it is. So, I knew his last name was Gilbert. Want to make sure it's Tyler. So, Tyler Gilbert, this was actually really cool. This was his first major league start, and he throws a no-hitter. How many times have we seen that? I'll tell you this right now. I've never seen that. I've never seen a first career major league start, the guy gets a no-hitter. That's unbelievable. That's unbelievable. Now, obviously, he made history, but as to that, has that ever even happened before? I honestly don't even think that's ever happened before. Has that? Maybe not in, you know, years and years and years. So, really cool. You know, I didn't watch the game, but really cool for him in his first career start, throwing a no-hitter. His dad was in the stands witnessing that. So, what a really cool special moment for Tyler Gilbert, for his dad, for his teammates. Ketel Marte, when he caught the final out in center, he was getting ready to throw the ball, as kind of players do after an inning or a game's over. So, kind of, I guess, by habit. But he kind of caught himself and kept the ball, so that was kind of a nice gesture there to keep that ball there for Tyler Gilbert. But kudos for him, man. Good on him being able to, yes, get a no-hitter, but in your first career start, that's absolutely amazing. Something that we haven't seen at least in years and years and years, because I don't know if there's ever been a time where a pitcher's ever had a no-hitter in his first start ever. I wouldn't be surprised if it did happen, it was probably 100 years ago. So, really cool moment for him, for his dad, his teammates, stuff like that, being able to witness that in his first career start. So, that's just something you just don't see. You know, we do see no-hitters every year. This year, I feel like it's the most we've seen in one year. I think it's tied for the most ever. Wonder why? Who knows? Maybe. I don't know. But that's just something that we haven't seen, man. First career start, no-hitter. Unbelievable. Dad's in the stands. Dad's tearing up, crying, seeing that. Really cool moment. And I don't know. I'm not really quite sure if Tyler Gilbert was, if you're a Diamondback fan watching this, let me know in the comments. I don't really know if Tyler Gilbert is viewed as a high-regarded prospect. I don't know. I'm very unfamiliar with him. But who knows? You know, going forward after this, you know, obviously he's going to have a spot in the rotation going forward, probably the rest of the year. So we'll see, you know, how he carves himself up with the Diamondbacks moving forward after this and finishing off the season, and maybe where that will leave him going into next year in regards of being a piece of that rotation. Don't really know. I'm honestly very unfamiliar with him and what he's done so far in his career before the Diamondbacks, but really cool moment and just something you just don't really ever see in regards of, you know, your first major league start no-hitter. That's just unbelievable. Like I said, folks, what are we in? We're about a half hour in right now. That's going to be the end of the show. What'd I tell you? I told you this wasn't going to be a long show. it's just been dry, man. Coming out of the NFL preseason, I was hoping there would have been more to really kind of talk about. Now, it would be different if I have like a 2-3 hour show. There's definitely other things I could think of in regards of, maybe talking about. But here, I don't like to go more than an hour. And that's just how I do it right now. I don't like to do that. So, coming out of the NFL, I mean, I could think of maybe, fun things to talk about or things for the upcoming season. But, hold on one second. Things for the upcoming season. But the thing is, there just isn't really, coming out of the week 1 preseason, there just really isn't a lot of news or really things to sink your teeth into and really take the time to dive into and talk about, really outside the starting rookies and things like that. But that's usually how the week 1 preseason is. So like I said, this upcoming week, I know 100% there'll definitely be a lot more to talk about coming out of the preseason games and maybe some of the roster cuts or things like that. There'll be more to talk about. Baseball related, like I said, that was kind of the baseball news and things like that really stuck out to me that I wanted to dive into and talk about here. So next week, I definitely 100% expect there to be a lot more NFL related to talk about. We'll just kind of play it by day, play it by week, and just kind of see what comes out. We'll see if anything really NBA related, NHL things kind of come out in regards of that, we'll talk about on this show. We'll have to wait and see, I guess. The NHL and NBA free agency is still going on, but there hasn't really been any signings, really. So we just got to play it by week, man. I definitely expect there to be a lot more to talk and cover on Saturday and Sunday show. Like I say, in regards of every show, I say that, or that I've been saying the last couple weeks, with college football and NFL coming up, I obviously was going to reorganize my podcast schedule. So Fridays, once the Thursday night game between the Bucs and Cowboys starts, that Friday is when it's going to kick in. So Friday, we're just going to be talking about everything going on in NFL, MLB, NHL, NBA, college, whether, college football, college basketball, things like that. We'll be talking about that Fridays. Saturdays, we're going to be talking strictly Pittsburgh sports. So if you're into Pittsburgh sports, and if you're a fan of any of the Pittsburgh teams, you'll want to tune in that. You can also tune into my latest episode 2 days ago, breaking down the second preseason game and the Joe Gilbert trade for the Steelers. And then Monday and Tuesday, that's when we'll be breaking down, the weekend from football. And then we'll also be breaking down the Steeler game Sunday, Monday, whatever day they play. Whatever game's Thursday night, we'll obviously incorporate that Friday. So the Friday after the first NFL game is when that's going to kick in. So just a heads up on that. And to keep up with everything else in the channel or any news going on, or if you guys want to interact with me, things like that, you can follow me on Facebook at InHeintz, Twitter, Nate_Heintz, Instagram, Nathan_Heintz. If you want to keep up, hit that subscribe, hit that like if you guys would like to. Just trying to reach more fans and continue to grow this channel. And just have fun discussion, have fun opinions, have fun debate. Let me know in the comment section what you guys think. What you guys think about going into preseason week 2. What you guys thought about maybe the rookies happening, things like that. Anything else that we covered on the show that you guys would like to tackle, maybe talk about in the comments, let me know. I always reply back and everything like that. But your guys' support always means a lot to me. I thank you all for tuning in and listening and taking the time to do that. So, but like I said, next week I 100% believe, we'll definitely have more things to talk about and cover, especially for NFL related. And we just got to kind of wait and see what comes out of the NBA and NHL and things like that. So we'll definitely have much more to cover this upcoming week in regards of those kind of things. But anyway, we'll see you. We'll be back here Saturday. And again, just thank you all for the support. And I hope you enjoy the rest of your week, guys. All right. We'll see you then.